sir.
How's it going, buddy? Fancy seeing you
How
here.
are you? Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm glad I was able to rouse you up in order to jump on with us here as a segment from the Creedence and Bishop show that started a long time ago. We're going to do an interview with one of our friends from the adult industry. First time ever on the show. Katie Morgan will be joining us here momentarily.
AVN Hall of Famer, what, 2018 inducted?
2014, I think.
14. All right.
I think so. We'll ask her. She'll probably know more than us.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of misleading information on the internet about her too.
There is. I read quite a bit, and I was like, I don't know if half of this is true or not. If it is, it's very interesting stuff. And but you know, she was just in a horror film. We saw that.
We'll get down to the nitty gritty of that, and that her significant other is my porn rival, if you will. Someone who I had a long-standing grudge with.
Yeah, you have never done adult films, but you.
Well, you know.
But you had this man. We had this man on, and you fell in love with him.
Well, prior to that, though,
yes, you would badmouth this man.
Absolutely, 100%. Simply because, well, we'll get into that a little more with her. I'll explain to her my strange relationship with one Evan Stone. And if anyone's watching right now, please feel free to share this wherever you're at. Tell a friend. You know what? There's going to be a beautiful adult film star here talking with two literally ugly men in a matter of moments.
Yeah, and also, if you have any questions too, we will definitely get your question on as well.
Yeah.
So, and Mikey, how do people follow us or like us or subscribe to us real quick?
Well, if you want to get us over on the YouTube, which is an excellent way to keep up with us, go to YouTube, look up Creedence and Bishop Show, and you'll find, I think we have probably about 80 videos now up there on YouTube. So go there. If you want to find us on Twitter, Twitch, or even the Facebook, the dreaded Facebook. You can find us by looking up CB Radio Show. That's CB Radio Show. And you can pretty much just Google Creedence and Bishop Show, and you'll find all kinds of things. Just make sure it's in our old material from 2009.
All right.
2009.
Speaking of the terrible Facebook, I watched Ghostbusters 2 the other day, and I was like, wow, the river of slime that is what social media is. It's the river of slime. It could either be a good thing. You could put it inside of a toaster and play I want your love lift me, your love lifted me. Yeah. You're pretty much right. Facebook is a tough spot. It's a mistress that will beat you at night and then kiss you on the forehead before you go to school. Well put. Well, Mikey, I think we have Katie Morgan. You want to get her to jump on?
Let's hope it is her, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one, the only, Katie Morgan.
Hello.
Hi, Katie.
Oh my goodness, look at her. She is in a fancy area. This is probably the most fancy bedroom I have ever seen. Is this a bedroom, a bathroom? I can't tell. Uh-oh. Your audio was terrible.
I hear you. Cord.
You got a bad cord. Kate.
A bad connection. I think you have a bad
cord. I think it's those headphones she's wearing. No.
She muted herself, so
you've muted yourself. You know what?
She's fixing it. She's fixing it.
Getting off to a good start. I like the way she. No, well, you look great. Let me say that. We can't hear you though. Is there a technician in the house? Possibly a cable guy. Oh, look at the dog.
I believe you are correct. I'm sure when she comes back, she will tell us what room she is. But I think that is a tub.
Yeah,
and there is a
bedroom.
The nice. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at those. Those is
much better. Is she a gamer? Those are gamer headphones, right?
I think you need to unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself now. Look up at the screen. You've muted yourself on the screen. Hit unmute. Bam. Now say something.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Hear you now. Absolutely. It
Perfect.
sounds
All
like
right,
you're my stewardess or the flight. You might be the pilot of our plane that's flying somewhere, and you're going to tell us what altitude we'll be flying. But it sounds good enough. Good enough.
You would think my Beats by Dre would be better than my Xbox headphones, but I guess not.
No, that was like it was cracking, popping, and sounded like possibly a fire could have started. Maybe a fire hazard. But
Well, I'm glad we're better. I just have the big deal now.
nothing wrong with the big deal. Now, what room are we in? Is this a bathtub beside you? What is it? We're taking bets.
This is a bathtub beside me, but it is in a bedroom. It currently contains a tortoise.
Hold on.
So there's a turtle in the bathtub?
Yes, like a land turtle. It has land in it. There's
Let me see
land.
this turtle.
Oh, wow.
Land.
Okay.
Wow.
Tortoise.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
a tortoise though.
I don't know if you know, but there are pet stores that will sell you a tank that you could put that turtle in and not have it in the bathtub.
I have those too.
Oh my God. It's like a zoo.
Really like tanks. I have a zoo. My whole house is a zoo, 100%. My friends have described it as the best free pet store where nothing's for sale in Vegas.
And where does this passion for animals come from? I mean, were you always this way, or is this something you just started doing?
No, literally always. When I was a kid, I got busted by my parents for having a bunch of pets in my closet that they didn't know about. And then I used to manage a pet store, and then I got into porn. So now I just have my own.
So you worked at a pet store originally.
I did when I was
and
like
you
18,
thought that-
19.
You thought that was your dream job, didn't you?
I mean, it still kind of is. I absolutely love pairing pets with animals, but having sex on camera for money is far more lucrative.
I would say it probably is. And let me point out, even though she's on a microphone that isn't perfect, she does have the best voice in the industry. If you hear that voice, you know who that is right away, because it's just one of a kind.
Not
in
just
a good
you,
way.
the people at the bank, the people at the drive-thru, everybody.
And that's kind
Katie
of like
Morgan.
a trademark. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a trademark. Now, how have you been coping with everything going on? Is your life getting back to normal now, or are you just bunkered down with the children?
Well, there's definitely a lot of at-home time. Porn is starting to roll again. We're starting to do movies, but what kept me busy pre-COVID was traveling and doing like appearances and conventions and hosting parties at nightclubs, and none of that is happening still.
Yeah.
So
I saw like at one point you had been traveling. I don't know if it was for business or pleasure, and you were in Duck, North Carolina. You were doing some stuff around North Carolina. Now we're in North Carolina. I'm in Jacksonville, North Carolina, home of Camp Lejeune in the United States Marine Corps. And Bishop is in Wilmington, home of homeless people.
Yes.
So what were you doing in this neck of the woods?
my grandmother lives in Lexington. So we had gotten out to see her, and we drove out and we spent the weekend out in the Outer Banks.
How do you like it? Do you enjoy it?
I love it. I would totally buy a retirement home there. Yeah.
And it's very cheap here. I'm going to tell you.
Yes. Shockingly inexpensive.
Yeah.
And beautiful.
You can buy a really nice, like 2,500 square foot home for probably under 200,000. Brand new.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everywhere in North Carolina, Mikey?
Well, I mean, in this vicinity towards the coast, yeah, towards the coast. And now, if you're living on the beach, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If you want to see the water.
Real quick, in Lexington, did I tell you, like 2 years ago, me and my wife went there, right, for like a little weekend getaway, and we saw the greatest, not getting political, but it was the greatest Donald Trump flag I've ever seen. We laughed our ass off many times. We wanted to take a photo of it. It was a Donald Trump NASCAR, okay? And standing on top of said NASCAR after the race, you know, because there was fireworks and stuff, was Donald Trump in a racing suit. I don't know where they got this thing made. It was the most hilarious damn political flag I've ever seen. But when she said Lexington, it just reminded me.
First thing you thought of, right?
Oh yeah, that's where that hilarious flag was. So
who's the?
I try to think of barbecue, but yeah, this is Sophie.
Oh my goodness.
That's Sophie. She's a Yorkie Poodle mix.
Oh,
I accidentally made her myself.
Oh, well.
You made her yourself?
I have both her parents. That was a mistake, but we
Oh,
found homes for all of them and fixed the mom. We didn't think they could make more. They're
cover
two
her
very different
ears.
sizes.
I can't believe you
She
just said she was a
she knows.
mistake. Cover her
This
ears.
is her mother. She knows.
Oh,
She knows.
gosh.
She knows
Well,
what she did.
She knows what she was up to. She knew how she got that way. Now,
Yes.
you have been busy. I know you do a lot of that, traveling around. And I noticed you have a traveling companion a lot of times, Mr. Evan Stone. Now, I have a history with Evan Stone because I've been doing adult film reviews when we were on terrestrial radio, and even when we went and started doing podcasting back in 2009. Now,
Right.
he was my nemesis in every film
For
He
no
was-
reason.
For no reason other than, you know what? He's a dashing looking fella. He's got that head of hair that any man would give, the right arm for, and the butt chin of a superhero. So
He does.
I was like, you know what? Every time I review a film that he was in, I was like, that son of a bitch, Evan Stone, is in this movie. That bastard. I can't stand this guy. He's an overacting ham. But at the same time, in my heart, it ached for him. I was like, and not in a sexual way, but in a mentor kind of way, where he was going to come to me and say, look, like, Mikey, let's me and you go fishing. Let's me and you go out and have a beer. So eventually I did book Evan on the show. We did talk, and it was one of those things where he'll never remember it. But you know what? On my deathbed, when I reach up and look at my wife in the face and I say, look here, I might have been a good man, but there ain't nobody better than Evan Stone.
I mean, he is the man. Like, I've been having sex with him on camera for almost 20 years, but we've only been living together for 4. So it's a whole different kind of dynamic.
Yeah. And Bishop had brought up a good point about how, workplace love affairs and things like that, relationships.
It's got to be so much different, in the adult industry with being with a coworker compared to being with someone that's not in the, like, how does that happen? Like you said, you've been with them, you've been doing scenes with them for 20 years, but you guys finally took it to the next level 4 years ago or so. Like, how do you make that step?
Well, with some people, you just always have that chemistry, and just right from the get, you have like amazing sex on camera, and those are the people I prefer to work with. With Evan, we just kept doing that off-camera thing, and then eventually we just made it stick. And I was like, "You want to move in?" Because we were just fucking anyway, and I was like, I could use someone with a hammer around the house. So.
Right? Is he
Yeah.
handy? Is he handy?
Very. Oh Lord, he is the handiest man. I'm like, I'd like to do something like this, and he just builds it. So it's very fun.
That's astonishing. I mean, not only is the man a magnificent adult film actor, but now you're telling me he is the greatest handyman ever to walk the earth. It's amazing.
He's the handiest man I've ever lived with. Most of the men I've lived with are like good at computers. Evan can actually like fix the drain. So it's
He's
big
a
improvement.
man's man.
He is a man's man. Absolutely.
I guess that's
Unbelievable.
why people are calling you the adult industry Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yes. That
just-
Hustler article said that.
Yeah. I was telling Bishop about it. I was like, I read the Hustler article, which it was good. But with me, I've done so many adult film interviews with different actors and actresses and directors. And I've always felt like, I don't want to do the same interview everyone else is doing and ask the same questions. And I want to dig in and really let everyone in on their private life a little bit, whatever they want to expose, but at the same time, make them seem more like an everyday person and not just like, oh, they're in porn. And when I read the article, it was a good article. It's well written. But I didn't feel like I got the attachment that I wanted to get out of it because, it was okay. It was good. But I was like, man, I really wanted a little more from Evan Stone. But, we can't all have Evan Stone in our life like you. You lucky lady.
That's true. There's only so much of him to go around. I do feel quite lucky.
By the way, where the hell is he?
I think he's in the other room. The last time I spoke to him, he was going to check if the chickens had water.
Oh my God, the man is a humanitarian.
How many pets do you have in the house? I thought you just had like a few turtles and what was in the thing. So you have chickens, you have dogs.
we don't count. We have chickens, we have dogs, turtles, frogs, only one snake. Turtles and tortoises. There's many of those. That's probably what there's the most of. Oh, and the aviary with birds, several ponds. We have a 2,000-gallon koi pond in the living room that Evan built. It's pretty impressive.
Oh my
Oh my
god!
gosh.
Yeah.
Need to do Evan needs his own how-to show, because when there's something broke at my house, I want to do something. First thing I do is go watch a YouTube video. The best YouTube video ever would be Evan Stone teaching you and showing you the way of doing these in his own special way. I mean, that's 1 million views right there. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
It's
Building
true.
Building a koi pond. I'm just saying, like that's
It's amazing. But
Yes.
it looks like, with you guys, everything you guys do together. And like Bishop was saying, if you were, say you guys worked for IBM and you're both started dating and things like that, it causes sometimes jealousy, rivalries from other people that are work around you in your company. Has there ever been like a rivalry or any issues with any other actors or actresses, possibly a director, because of the relationship you guys have?
Not really. I mean, we've both been around so long. Like we run into his ex all over the place. Like it just is what it is. When you've been in this business for 20 years, you've dated a few people, so it's gonna happen. But no, we really don't have like that jealousy thing. I think because of the porn thing, where like, I don't know. I just don't have that thing where I get mad when other people want to have sex with who I'm having sex with. I'm just like, ooh, can I watch? Like that's
right. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just a different way of looking at it. So jealousy, rivalry doesn't really happen for me or for him.
Now you brought up. Go ahead.
Has that ever happened? Like where someone wants to have sex with Evan, and has it ever happened like he has a scene and you're like, oh, I'll go with you, and you just hang out, and eat craft services while he's doing his thing and just watch?
No, I mean, that wouldn't really be professional, but there are plenty of times that we've been on the same set, just in different scenes, and I have snuck a few peeks.
She's like looking at the
I
other
like
woman.
to watch.
She's giving the other women all the throat cuts and stuff and the evil eye.
I'm in the back corner, all like,
yeah. So you were saying something about how you run into like his ex. Now, if people don't know, who is Evan Stone's ex?
Oh, Jessica Drake. We see her at all the events.
Now,
Yeah,
Jessica,
they were married for a little while.
Jessica has been on our show probably more than anyone ever. She's probably been on our show about
She is
10 or 12 times.
fantastic. Evan has excellent taste in blondes. I'll just say that.
The greatest quote ever was when I was asking her, this was after they were already, split up and everything. I said, I saw some pictures of you guys' wedding. And she's like, yeah. I was like, what was going on? You're up on, it looks like a mountain or something. There's something really weird going on. What was the weirdest thing that happened on that day? She said, well, I guess the weirdest thing was the wind machine that we had hooked up so Evan's hair would blow in the wind during the ceremony and for all the pictures. And I said, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Once again, just going back in on it. Greatest man alive.
It's
greatest man alive.
Fucking fantastic. He does like to work a good breeze. Yeah.
I feel like he missed his calling. I mean, yeah, he did really well in the industry, but he should have been like a comedic actor. He could have been like a buddy comedy with some other dude, and he just like carries the guy on his back because he's so damn talented. Don't you feel like maybe he could have done that?
I mean, I'm sure he could have, but his big dick burdened him with having to share it with the world. So.
Thank God that's a burden I don't have to carry. He's almost like Jesus. He is taking the big dick burden upon his shoulders and really helping the rest of us. God bless you, Evan Stone.
Hashtag big dick Jesus.
That's right. Big dick Jesus.
Yeah.
I saw that you guys, well, you particularly, you have a horror film coming out called Die Influencer Die.
Yes,
now,
I play a terrible person. you're glad that I die.
Oh,
So-
look, don't tell me you die. Oh my God. Spoiler alert, everyone.
All right,
Jeez.
sure. Does it help if I say almost everyone dies? It's a
Well,
horror movie. What do you want? Like, we
So-
all die.
How did you get involved with a horror movie? I mean, you're not the first person I would think of for a horror film.
Sure. I've known Tabitha and Gary who did it for just years and years, and they asked me to read for it, and I loved it, and I was like, yes, absolutely, I'm in. It's something completely different, and I warned them that I had no scream, but then we worked up to it enough that I actually found a scream, which, like, for the first time ever, because other times I've died in like porn horror films, just nothing comes out. That's all dubbed in.
You're
I just like, and nothing comes out. Yeah. I hope I never get attacked in the dark. I got nothing.
Yeah, you're a goner for sure. I mean, thank God Evan's around. But do you like horror films? I mean, that's a genre not a lot of people like, and I just didn't ever look at you and say, you know what, she's a big horror fan.
You know, I'm not really about the blood and gore slasher films, which is what this is. This is totally like tits and blood for people who are into that, and it's fantastic for what it is. I do enjoy like a good psychological horror film, but yeah, the blood gets to me. I don't.
So you're kind of squeamish with that kind of thing.
Yes, I like
that's a-
live things that aren't bleeding.
And oddly enough, I saw Lizzie Borden, the metal act. Lizzie Borden, I guess she's in the film too. How did that come about? I mean, that's an odd pairing there. You guys, Tabitha, Lizzie Borden.
Same thing. I think Tab and them knew from before, and they just made it work. It's absolutely fantastic. I think people will really enjoy it. It's a fun, nasty little slasher gore film, but it is like about the gore and the special effects. Like, we had Tom Devlin doing our makeup and prosthetics and stuff. He's like hardcore. He's got the horror museum out here outside Vegas.
So you
He's
guys
done for, like,
did
all kind of movies.
more of the practical effects than CGI kind of stuff. You went with that.
After I died in the film, it was the longest shower I've ever taken in my life to get all that blood off.
It's sticky, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
sticky.
Yeah, other things like come wash off way faster.
Well, you know, that's what they were made for. And Metal Blade Bishop does the soundtrack for the movie Metal Blade Records. Yeah, so it's like
Nice.
if you're into that kind of thing. And when's this coming out? When will we be able to see it?
I believe it is available now on the website. I think she said it was going to go to Amazon later, but right now it's available. Like, you buy it on the website.
I'm excited.
Sky.
I love horror movies. Love them.
Yay.
I mean, I watch them all the time. And when I saw this, I was like, well, that's really interesting. And I saw there was a clown mask. And so I'm like, oh, Bishop is afraid of clowns. So he will not want to watch this film at all. This is not for him.
That fear come from an odd place. Was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Whatever, was it Pee-wee's Big Adventure? The first Pee-wee heard? Yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. When his bike gets stolen and he's got it latched up to the clown, and then when he comes out, the bike is gone, and then he's having all these nightmares about clowns. And oh my God, I remember in first grade, for some reason, they showed that movie, and I was already terrified of the movie. And I remember thinking in my head, like, oh my God, the clown scene is about to come up. I got to close my eyes and make sure no one can see me close my eyes. So I don't know if I'll be able to handle this movie or not, if there's super scary clowns in it. Is there clowns, or is that just something that it was like, hey, we're going to put a clown on here? That's the hot ticket right now with it and all that. Or is there clowns in this movie?
There's a very scary clown in this movie, and I am also afraid of clowns because of watching it when I was a child. I think I was like 8 or 9, and I watched it on TV. I wouldn't take a shower for like 2 weeks, and I'm still afraid of clowns.
Right. Why would they put that on TV? It's like, yeah, you know what? There's only
the original was made for television.
I know.
I watched it. My mom thought it was fine until we all slept in her bed for like 3 weeks.
I had the same thing happen to me though with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw it when I was like 8 years old, and at the very beginning, when you're 8 years old and you see something,
was that made for TV also?
No, it was not made for television. When it says at the very beginning of the film, "Hey, this is based on true events. These people were never caught." So I'm thinking, you know, every time I was out playing as a kid, next thing you know, Leatherface is going to come out of the woods, grab me, beat me over the head with a sledgehammer. I couldn't sleep for 2 months. I couldn't sleep. It was awful. But I love horror movies now, which is odd. Very
See, it
odd.
worked out for you.
I guess so. It really did. I was thinking you kind of moved into a new genre now. It seems like you're moving towards the MILF, if you will, films and things like that. Which looking at you right now, you're still very young. So you're like the youngest MILF has to be in film because you got to be. You're younger than me by far. And
Am I?
oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm fast stepping to 50. So
Okay.
you are not what I would qualify as a MILF. A MILF to me is a woman who's got like, a lot of wear and tear on her. And
I like how PC you said that.
It's supposed to be your friend's hot mom. So in theory, you're old enough to have sexual thoughts towards a woman and your friend is of the same age. I will say that they MILFed me at 26 when I got boobs, and I was in my first MILF movie, which was called Teen MILF. So,
well, that makes sense.
I don't know.
Teen MILF. That's
Teen MILF. It technically the phrase is "mother I'd like to fuck," right? Like that's all it is. In fairness, I am nobody's mother. Proudly child-free by choice. Which is maybe why I look so young, because I am definitely old enough to be somebody's mother whose friends think I'm hot. So,
well,
I'm actually the right age now, but I still kind of lose out on a lot of that work because I look too young. No fighting.
But yeah, talking about the teen MILF, that MILF, that's the thing I never liked. I was like, yeah, sure, they have a kid, but like you said, the idea is that it's someone's mom that not like, oh well, she has a kid and she's 21, or whatever.
Right, and it's kind of blurred because it got to be kind of a hot thing in porn. If they want to say anything, I guess I prefer something like cougar because my snatch is nice and tight. I've not blown a human out of it, so I don't need people fantasizing about that.
But when
hold on, I got a question.
Go ahead.
All right, talking about being a MILF at 26 and all this. There's this thing in porn right now, right? It was not right now, for the past few years. I think it's so strange.
You're about to ask the same question I was about to ask. Go ahead.
Maybe you are. I don't know. It's so strange, but half the videos, I'm looking through the videos and the description comes up and I see like the clip. I'm like, oh, that looks nice. And then I read the description and it's like, banging my hot stepsister, and I'm like, why is everything got to be banging my stepsister or banging my stepbrother or whatever? Like I don't know. I didn't know that was so many people's fantasies to bang their stepbrothers or stepsisters.
Big. Real big.
Like, banging your stepmom, that's once again MILF. That's fine. Yeah. I understand that, but I don't know, the stepsister stepbrother thing is so strange.
I mean, if we're being honest, people want it to not be step. That's what they're searching. And this is the closest legal thing we can kick out that'll feed that fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess, because it is an ultimate taboo. And that reminds me, that was one of the first films I ever saw as a young man was Taboo, with Kay Parker, by the way, who is a fantastic interview.
What was her son's name in the movie? Like Greg or something?
Oh, I don't remember. But that was one of the weirdest movies. Yeah.
Greg, are you awake? Listen, I'll take my hat off. I will salute them because you know what? They said this is what it is. We ain't bullshitting. This is what we're trying to get across. It's not real, it's fantasy, but this is the fantasy we're trying to get across. And everyone else is just pussyfooting around like, oh, it's your stepmom or whatever.
Your dad's new wife.
Legally, you have to.
Right. I understand.
When I took I took a break during my time in the industry, in which time I was still being Katie Morgan and I was still feature dancing and doing HBO shows and all that stuff, but I was not performing hardcore because I briefly caught monogamy. But then it wore off and I remembered I knew where all the dicks were, so I went back. But when I came back, it was all incest and cuckold. And I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened to just hot people having sex? I'm the pool boy. I'm the pizza. What happened to that? Now it's like, it's all stepsons. or stepdaughters, and I have to specify to people now in my yes and no list, which used to be like boy, girl, girl, anal. Like it's a simple list. Now it's
Right.
like I only do positive cuckold. I only do light incest. Like you have to like specify what you're willing to do.
Which
What
is
the
so
hell
funny
is positive cuckold, by the way?
Positive cuckold. Yes. So this is when the man you're fucking watches you fuck someone else, except instead of degrading him, you little pussy, you have to watch
Oh,
me. You're
okay.
like, yeah, baby, you love to watch me get fucked by this big dick. See, it's
Yeah.
positive cuckold.
Is this what you wanted, baby? I'm so glad I could make this happen for
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch me. I love that you're watching me. Yeah. It's
Okay.
positive cuckold. Totally. So I do that. I totally do that. And I also do light incest, in which during the dialogue, we establish that no, we are not related by blood. And yes, you are over 18 years of age. And ideally, I met you after you were an adult.
Well,
Okay,
I
so-
mean,
so
there's a lot of sub genres to everything. I mean, positive
Seriously.
cuckold. We're learning so much tonight. I mean, it's very informative.
it's just too much. It's just too much to think about. All right, because this one, all right, I had to stop what I was doing and think about this one. All right, so this one was stepmom teaches stepdaughter how to F, right? And that was the name of the thing. Yeah, so this sounds good, right? So stepdaughter sees stepmom at the pool or whatever, and one thing leads to another. And then this guy comes in, this younger guy, and it's a son, right? And I'm like, okay, who is this guy? And the stepmom gets mad, but then of course they all join in. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. If this is the daughter's stepbrother, then who
hatched that kid? Yeah, where that kid come from?
Right. So I'm like, I got to change the channel. This is just too
It's
much.
like a superhero movie. You've got to,
Right.
suspend your disbelief when you're watching it and just say, you know what, these people are heroes,
Sure.
and that's how we'll treat them.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
but
I understand. It's
okay,
too
so
much.
now you're at the age you are now. You're going into this whole MILF realm, which you've been exposed to for a very long time. Do you feel like there is a point, because you've outlasted, I mean, your contemporaries, most all of them. I mean, there's a few here and there, but you've do you feel like there's an expiration date on your career, or do you feel like, you know what, once I'm done being the MILF, I'll be the GILF, or anything like that? Do you feel like there's going to come a time that you'll say, I'm done with the business, and what will be the thing that happens that will let you know that?
So, I mean, people have asked me this for years, like when are you going to retire? And it's really hard to say, because as long as they're paying me to fuck hot 25-year-olds with big dicks, I feel like I'm going to keep doing it. It's hard to say no to. Like,
Bishop
it's
said the
fun.
same thing just the other day when I was talking to him. He's like, look, as
Words I
long as
live
they
by.
keep paying me, I'm going to keep banging them. So,
I mean, they keep hiring me and I love doing it. So am I going to quit while they're still calling me? Probably not. But when I
No.
do want my pants back, I might try some stand-up comedy.
really? Now,
Yeah.
what makes you feel like that's your calling? I mean, are you writing you going to write your own material? Are you going to get a writer to write for you? Or are you going to just talk about, experiences? You're going on stage and just, kind of be a storyteller of a comedy?
I definitely have kind of a specific point of view, having been in the porn industry for 20 years and being famous for it. So it's definitely going to be at least somewhat stories from me and jokes based off that. Just observational comedy. I would not have somebody else write it for me, but I feel like that's next.
Yeah, you have to like speak with your own voice, because that's what's funny, is your view and your take on things, as simple as whatever it is that you're talking about. But yeah, that's just a interesting next step.
Yeah, that's
It is.
definitely a different direction for sure. I
Have
mean,
you ever done like an open mic
Only
or anything
medium.
like that?
yeah.
Well, when I did my HBO shows, we did several nights full nude in front of audience, Q&A style, which while I didn't have like a dialogue, I was still on stage talking
Sure.
to an audience for about an hour and a half, several nights in a row. So that felt like it felt like a bit. It felt good. It felt
Mhm.
like I could do this. I could just stand out here and talk. I definitely have to organize my thoughts into more of like a coherent amount of time, and then I'll probably start doing like open mic nights, or I don't know. maybe call in some favors and see if I can just get started.
Yeah.
So,
Bishop's been doing stand up for how long now?
10 years now.
Yeah, he
decided.
decided.
Do we count this year though? Like that's the thing.
No, you can't count this year. This
Be
year
nice
is
to
not
the pig.
not to be counted. Oh, is there about to be a fight over there?
well, they're barking at the pig, which is completely uncalled for. She's a very nice pig. She's done nothing to them. But they team up. They get mean.
Well, okay. So you guys are your quintessential loving couple. You have a different look on sexuality and things like that.
Sure.
I know you're getting paid. You know, each of you are doing film and stuff like that. In your personal life, do you come home and become the most boring couple in the world as far as sexual, experiences, or do you bring a little bit of something from work?
Well, it's funny because we're both kind of trained, and periodically when we're just like having sex in our normal lives, we'll catch ourselves like opening up to a camera that's not there, but that's where it would be. Just because those are the positions we're used to having sex in, right? Like that's how you do it. You like throw your leg up in the air over the shoulder so everyone can see everything.
Right.
Well, I mean, that works out good too. I mean, it's good practice. You don't want to, it's like a bicycle, understand, but at the same time, you always want to keep sharp for the next job. Now, as a couple that you're so loving, do you guys have nicknames for one another? Do you have like a pet name for him and he has a pet name for you? Something maybe even embarrassing that you want to tell us about that no one's listening. So go ahead.
Oh gosh, really not really. The only thing weird about us is that we do both call each other by our stage names. We always have, even though we obviously know each other's real names and live in the real world. We are Katie and Evan to each other and always have been. So
I was wondering about that because it's almost like you guys are professional wrestlers in a way, and you want to keep up kayfabe when you're at home. So you're gonna, you don't want anybody hearing him call you Sarah or something like that, and you're like, people
do. We live with other members of my family who do use my real name, but he doesn't. It just isn't. I don't know.
Okay, hold on a second. Other members of your family or his family live with you guys?
My family, my 13 years younger kid brother and his daughter have been living with me basically since she was born. He's a single dad.
You're a humanitarian and just a complete lover of your family. I mean, to open your doors like that. I mean, that's how every family should be.
In fairness, it's a little bit selfish because when I leave for these weekends for work, like I used to do 3-4 weekends a month, he feeds the 40 some odd animals we have. So, it goes around and it comes around. We're a very modern family household.
Well, I mean, it's okay because if you have your family close, have you always had a great relationship with your family, especially since you got into the industry and stuff? What's that dynamic always been like? Because if I've read something correctly, and by all means it could be wrong, you come from a religious family?
I do. I am a pastor's daughter. I was raised as a Calvary Chapel pastor's kid. And we did Awana and all of that. It was It was just not my bag, though. And when I graduated high school, we started swinging. And then a couple years later, I got into porn. And we did, kind of keep it quiet for a while. Like me and my first husband, we did not tell either of our religious sets of parents that we were experimenting sexually. And it wasn't for a lot of years before my parents found out. My other family members knew. I'm really close with my aunts and my grandparents, and they all knew for quite a while. But we all kind of decided that mom and dad would not handle it well. And in fact, they did not speak to me for several years after they found out. But then at one point, my grandmother said, guys, it's legal. Get over it. She's happy. And then they did. So thanks, Grandma.
Okay. So you didn't tell mom and dad. What was your cover job? I mean, you had to tell them you were doing something for a living. What were you telling them you were doing?
I was a model in LA.
Oh,
stick with close to the truth.
Right. You're right.
You're like, Dad, I'm doing work for Sears catalog. I don't know if you've seen that.
Technically, I was modeling, and in fact, my first agent I signed up with, Jim South, advertised as feature. What do they call it? Feature modeling? No, where you're modeling yourself. You're the model, right? I can't remember what they called it right this second.
Wow.
But it was like physical modeling, where your model was your nudity. That's what you were modeling.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so
Well, very close to the truth then.
Very, very close. Just minus all the
Right.
dicks.
I'm trying to figure out though. You're in the strict religious family. At what point did you say, I'm going to jump the fence to the devil when I'm over here with the Lord? I'm getting away from the Lord and I'm jumping over here with the devil. What was the moment that changed your outlook? Because I'm guessing you were religious, and you can still be religious in your profession, but you had the mindset of a pastor's daughter, a preacher's daughter, whatever you want to call it. What was the moment that flipped the switch?
So this is actually like a warning to all parents. Around 13 or 14, I started questioning things and being very smart and being also homeschooled. My father encouraged me to go out and research all of the world's religions, and then I would find that we were right.
Huh?
That is not what I found.
Everyone else is wrong. We're right, just so you know.
I discovered through my research that the only thing your religion is based on is where and when in history you were born.
Right.
And that there's religions that have lasted much longer and that, way more people have followed that are now completely gone and forgotten. And all these major religions that half the other world believes in. And I was just like, I'm good with, if we can't all be right, maybe it's whatever. So I'm what I like to call a hopeful agnostic. Maybe there's something that would be great.
Yeah, that's the way you got to look at it. I mean, if you look at it the opposite way, you're just like gloom and doom. At least now you're being optimistic, and that's the way to be. It
gave me the freedom to literally be whatever I wanted to be, which, as it turned out, is a sex icon, I guess. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say. Is like most of the time, it just like when you're living in that, like your family is the church, basically. It's just too much, it's just too much. And then, like you said, warning to all parents, like, don't tell someone to go, hey, you go check out, you'll figure out we are correct and everyone else is wrong. And you're like, oh my God, how can everyone else be wrong when there's all these other options and we be the only person right? So
yeah, it was logic that took me to the dark side.
So does your family love Evan? I mean, do you feel like Evan is the perfect man for you? I mean, he is a little older.
Yes. Well, two things. My grandmother had two comments on Evan. My grandmother is amazing. Her first one was, honey, what's with you and all the older men? Because, he's not the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was that he's the most even-tempered, sweetest man she's ever met. And I was like, okay, thank you. So...
yeah, that's a good vote right there for Grandma.
Yeah, thanks, Grandma. Yeah.
Words of encouragement right there. So what is the deal with old men? I mean, do you think there's something psychological about it, or is it just your personal preference?
Oh, no, I figured all this out a while ago. So I like men that are like 35 to 55. Before, they were older than me. Now they're getting kind of into my age range, and eventually I'll like younger men. That's just the age of men I like.
Shh, don't say that. Evan could hear you, and then, my God, his heart would break. His heart would break.
He knows. We've had this conversation.
He knows what he signed up for.
He knows what he's got himself into. He knows what's going to happen. So eventually, you have to age out on that, because then you'd be dating men that were like dead. So the older you got, you couldn't keep dating older men, so you would have to reverse it.
My goal is to be like 65, 70, still hot, and like fucking 35, 38-year-olds. That's the goal.
As long as there is family porn, you'll be right in there, Grandma. Don't you worry. You'll have a job. No. It'll never dry up. Don't worry. That river will run forever.
Tight, I'm not really a mother. It stays tight.
And I'm sure every day, Evan drops to his knees and thanks his agnostic God somewhere that you know what, he's watching out for you. He's watching out for you.
We'll call it the universe.
Banging my step grandma video.
Ew, God, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah, just hearing that's gross, right?
It really is, but as long as the guy is hot, it's not like I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Now,
you're editing it.
What would you say is your least favorite film you've made? Not just because of who you worked with, but maybe because of circumstances that were happening. Maybe things didn't go the way they were supposed to. What is your horror story of filming adult film?
Sure, sure. One definitely comes right to mind. There was one where we were shooting outside on a hill as the sun was setting. And I'm not going to name names or the movie. The gentleman, who is still active in this industry, could not keep his dick hard. And it was a struggle of the whole time. At one point, he started crying because of the pressure of the sun going down and the light changing. When he finally managed to jack his limp dick to ejaculation, he shot it right up my nose. It was gone. There was not a drop on my face. It was the worst scene and the worst cum shot ever in 20 years.
I know the name of the film. It was Cum Snorters 6. I remember that well. That was a very good scene.
It became a fetish after that. It did. Yeah.
I mean, the crying part is probably the best part. I mean, the limp penis part. I mean, come on, we've all been there. But
it happened.
The crying part,
especially when the sun goes down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a little while in the industry, there was a saying, "Don't cry like," and it was because of that scene.
Really?
Yes.
Now I got to find out. Let's see who's the next person I talk to.
Telling.
Next person I talk to is Holly Randall. I'm talking to her on Monday, and then I'm talking to Sarah J on Friday. So maybe I can ask one of them. Maybe they could.
Maybe they've heard the phrase, and then I won't be the one outing it.
I'm gonna write that one down. Interestingly, with Sarah J, last time we had her on, we talked about Bigfoot. She has a fascination with Bigfoot, and she believes in Bigfoot. Sure. Is there anything you believe in that people would hear and say, "Ooh, that Katie, she's a little bit out there"?
Okay, but I don't want to associate this to Bigfoot because my shit's true.
Okay,
sure. Of course,
it is. There's only one thing that's yours.
I am obsessed with the authorship of Shakespeare. I'm a very hardcore Oxfordian. So, for people who don't know, that's a little bit out there, but in a super geeky way.
So you're saying your thought is that he didn't write the stuff? Are you one of those people, or?
Yeah, William Shakespeare was just an actor and a play broker, but the actual author, I believe, was Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. So, yeah, there's some fascinating books on it, and really, he lived the canon. His life speaks to the whole thing, so it's kind of a no-brainer once you hear it. An awfully lot of people over the years have said so.
Yeah, I've heard that conspiracy before.
Yeah,
well, not conspiracy, but that
thought. Kind of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I would say
it's put out as a conspiracy theory, but really, I think it's a historical tragedy that he was lost to history, and we're just refinding him now.
I mean, just think how much many books have to be rewritten and things would have to be changed. I mean, no one wants to have to go back and fix all that. I mean, everybody's dead.
There's like a whole like world based around the town that William Shakespeare lived in. So, like, of course, nobody wants to hear it. But just the first time I heard it, I was so very angry that this man had not gotten credit for his work. I don't know why. It just, like, instantly hit me. Like, what the fuck do you mean it was somebody else? That's, like, the greatest literary work in history. And we're, like, crediting the wrong person. Again, in my opinion. So,
look at her. Her genius is showing again. I like the way you say Shakespeare. I've always called it Shakespeare, but you were saying something almost sounded like you were going to call him William Shatner. That's an interesting way of saying it. That's probably the correct way to say it, that way you're saying it.
Again, this is an Oxfordian thing. All of William Shakespeare's writings and historical documentation, all is spelled Shakespeare. The author, the playwright, was always spelled Shakespeare, which is
I feel like an idiot.
A pen name. Yeah, it's a pen name. It's like Mark Twain, right? Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain. Yeah.
Oh, here's a very good question. Have you ever shopped at a Circuit City?
Have I? I have. I'm very old.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to go to Circuit City to look for things like phone cords to plug in my phone.
I go there to buy VCRs. I always my VCR was always breaking for some reason.
Yeah, I have porn of mine on VHS. That's how long I've been doing this.
Now,
that was an interesting question from the chat room.
Yeah, I'm glad. That's the kind of stuff I like to hear. What was your very first adult film you saw as a young person?
Oh gosh, I can't remember the title of which one it was, but one of the very first ones I remember watching was a Shane's World party video that was like where they went and like had a party and everybody was just having a blast, and that's what made me want to get into porn. I was like, I want to get paid to do that.
Well, before we let you go, since you know so much about the film industry and things like that, would you like to play a game where I'm going to give you a title of a movie and you tell me if it's a porno or if it's a no-no? So it's either a legitimate film or it's an adult film.
Okay, it's one or the other. It's not made up.
The title can be very deceiving. No, none of these are made up.
All these are real.
Okay.
100%. Okay. How about the film The Banger Sisters?
That's a real movie.
That is a real movie. Wow, look at you. Already on the board. Look at that. How about Stick It?
That's also a real movie. I think it's about gymnastics.
Yes, it is. Wow, look at her. All right. How about this one? My Haunted House.
Oh, God. I mean, that could go either way. I'm going to go porn.
You're right. That is a film from 2013. Evan Stone was in it.
Oh, sure. Famous. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. How about V?
My Haunted House.
Yeah. How about V for Vicky?
V for Vicky. Is that a porn?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Another
because V for
Evan
Vendetta
Stone
is the
film.
real movie. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. How about Stroker Ace?
Is that a mainstream movie?
Yes, it is. Starring Burt Reynolds. Wow. Burt Reynolds. Man, you're on a roll. My dog is even excited. How about I Am Number 4? Quiet dog. I am number 4.
Gosh, I don't think I've heard of that at all. I'm going to go porno.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's a mainstream film.
Can't get it all.
How about this one? The Night Walker.
Mainstream.
Yes, absolutely. God, look how good you are at this. All right. How about Catch Me, Daddy?
Oh, God. Let's hope that's a porno.
No, it's a mainstream movie.
Damn
wow,
it.
you're on such a roll. How about Cul-de-sac?
Porn.
No, that's a mainstream movie too. Look at you.
Oh, I'm messing it all up.
All right, here's an easy one. Holes.
Okay.
Holes.
That's a mainstream movie.
Absolutely. How about Drunk Parents?
Mainstream?
Yeah, look at you.
All right.
You're burnt. How about Love Sandwich?
Porn?
Is there porn?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I mean, I almost gave it away to you. I mean, that one's almost how about Munch?
Munch. Mainstream.
No, that's a movie you're in, by the way.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of the TV. I'm thinking of the TV actor. I was watching Law and Order earlier. Detective Munch. That's it. Yeah.
But you were in this film,
No.
Munch.
Did
2005.
Did I eat vaginas?
You could have. I mean, the title alone makes you feel like
It implies it.
How about Getting Luckier?
Oh, I was in that. That is actually a porno that is a spoof of Get Smart, but it was part of a Get Smart 2 spoof, which the original was Get Lucky and then Get Luckier.
Wow.
Yes,
All
I
right.
had a vague foreign accent all through that movie that changed with every scene because it's not something I can do.
All right. So last but not least, how about Along for the Ride?
Mainstream.
Nope. That's another one of your movies.
Damn. See, I don't fucking know.
Well,
They don't even always tell us what the movies are titled when we shoot them. And in fact, I've literally shot ones that were shot as like Bikini Babes and they come out as like Inner Space Hookers. And I'm like, I don't know. They changed the titles. Yes. All of that.
Do you ever go to the set and they say, okay, so here's your inspiration. I want you to, or you just go in there like, okay, so you're going to go over here with Johnny Boy and you're going to get this done. And then I want you to flip over and do that. Or do they ever act like, they're, getting you into a character when you're going to do it?
There's literally every range of things. Some people are like really hardcore feature directors where they are making art and they have a script and they want it word for word on their dialogue because they're a writer. And then there are other people who are like, you're a boy, you're a girl, you're on a couch. You guys know what to do. We're just going to say action.
No.
So there's the full gamut in between.
I only have one more question for you before we let you go.
Okay.
Is there any chance you can tell Evan to come in the room and I can see him?
Possibly. Let me see.
I mean, if he's building an ark or anything like that, don't disturb him by no means. Look, she's muted her mic again, by the way.
Right. Oh,
There you
They
go.
want to say hi to you.
Is he camera
he's
ready?
prepping.
Is he camera ready?
I mean, enough.
Does he need to run a brush through his hair?
Probably. Usually.
I can wait. I can wait.
Yeah. Let me get him a brush.
Please.
Do you want to run a brush through your hair, or do you want to do it like that? Yeah, he'll do it like that. All right.
Is there a cockatoo or something in there? What was that sound?
She said there's a
that
bird.
was the pig. That was the pig. No, the cockatoos are in a different room. There are cockatoos.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man's man. Look at this.
Yes.
Look at this.
Look at this guy. Wow.
Oh my goodness. You are by far the manliest man ever born to this world. You're what all men should basically try and mold themselves into. You're the, God damn it, you're the sample that broke the mold. I mean, you're the thing, man. I mean, I used to hate you, but it was only because I loved you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean,
actually, I wasn't a pirate. I was a pirate hunter.
Oh, okay. Pirate hunter. By the way, we were just talking about some of your films. We're trying to get her to guess if it was a real porn or a mainstream film. And we talked about a couple of yours. What can we look for you to build online anytime soon? She says you're the most handy guy in the world.
They want you to do YouTube videos of building some of the things you've built.
Yeah. You're missing your calling.
It's just a small pyramid.
That's just a small pyramid.
I can show you the koi pond before we go. It's really quite impressive.
I would love to see the koi pond. Evan, we love you, by the way.
Thank you.
They love you. They love you. Okay.
Bravo.
I will
Evan is
show
the
you
man.
the koi pond.
Look
I have
here.
to go out past all the things.
You tell Evan
right.
I will cash app him $20 if he comes on the show next month.
There's the koi pond.
Oh my
I'm sure
God.
he would come, right?
Wow. Look at that. That's
pretty
amazing.
impressive. It's pretty good.
My
It's
God.
2,000 gallons.
And that's like, I mean, that's,
Yeah,
you
no,
gotta
that's
know
not
what you're doing. Yeah, that's not like he built a bird, a bird cage or something. I mean,
in fairness, I designed it, but then he built it.
right. It was a team effort, but wow, that
my
is
goodness. And I mean,
It
it's
is
right here in
large.
the middle of the house. I mean, it's
It is
gigantic.
right behind. This is the front door, and there's the koi pond.
oh,
So, yeah, right inside the door.
that's a
I
great
mean,
place.
That is a great place. And you guys are in Vegas?
We're in Las Vegas. Yeah,
That's
we got about a half an acre out here. Eleanor, move. This is the
Are
pig.
are you a sports fan, by the way? The Raiders are going to be kicking
Eleanor.
butt.
Oh, hi, pig.
Look at
That's
that.
Eleanor. Eleanor
They think-
Pigsley.
They say pigs are, oh, that's a great name. They say pigs are so much smarter than 3-year-old children. I mean,
She doesn't talk, but she's definitely smart as hell.
oh my goodness. I mean, you know, I love the things you're doing. I love that you love these animals so much and that you took in a real life Tarzan to live with you in one Evan
That's a
Stone.
good description. Yes, he's like a real life Tarzan.
He really, really is. Evan, by the way, I'm going to send her an email to get you to come on our show next month. I would love to have you on the show and discuss some things with you. You're one of the most interesting men in the world. I don't know why you didn't do all those Deseco or whatever they were commercials. You are you're the most interesting man in the world by far. There's a book there, maybe even a movie. We'll talk about it.
Definitely.
I want to thank you so much,
You want to
Katie.
do their show? Yeah, he'll come on.
Good. Katie, thank you so much for coming on. I love
it.
the life you have. I love that you're so open and honest. And I hope that this has given people a glimpse into your life, that it's not the porn star life, it's the perfect life. By
Oh,
far.
thank you.
It really is. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And my dog loves your dogs, apparently, because he's barking his head off. And Evan, I'm going to send you that email, buddy. I love you. I love you so much, Evan. You're the best. Love you.
Everyone,
I'm coming.
Katie Morgan, thank
coming
you
to
so
Vegas.
much. Yeah, seriously.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Katie.
Bye, guys.
It's crazy that she has all those animals and all this. And I wanted to say real quick that it was hilarious that he wanted to run a comb through his hair, but his hair looked immaculate. Like
Was.
Yeah.
I mean, if
And
my
her-
hair looked that good, I would never brush it.
Right. Katie's hair.
Ever.
Everyone's hair in that family looks great. You know, her
In
hair
that
looks
koi
great.
pond. My
Yeah.
God, that's bigger than any swimming pool I ever had in my backyard. I mean, that was incredible. What a home. What a life these two have. They are porn's perfect couple. And I will go on record, say that again. Thank everyone for coming by tonight. You'll be able to find this in audio form probably within the next 4 or 5 days because Creed is dying. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be over on Anchor FM as well as
Stitcher, Apple,
Google.
Yeah, I listen through Stitcher. You know, it's all different. Basically, anywhere you can find
Spotify.
audio, Spotify. It's on all those platforms, and the video is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
And if you're a Facebook follower, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. YouTube will treat you so much better than the people over here. I'm not going to say who, but get over there, subscribe to our Facebook. Just look up Creedence and Bishop Show. And tomorrow night, we're going to be right back at it again with actor, writer, producer, Mr. Tim Stack, son of the beach, son of the bitch. Man, that was a lot of fun. My mouth got so dry when I saw Evan.
Your mouth got you were starstruck, even though you've talked to the man before.
But now that we're doing this video stuff,
right,
to see them face to face on the other side of that camera, by God, it's the most amazing thing ever. I'm gonna go have sex with my wife.
And that's the end of Clue, everyone. Seriously, I want to thank everyone for joining us live, and thank you for Kenny for asking if she ever shopped at Circuit City. I worked with Kenny at Circuit City, so that was funny that he.
Oh yeah,
that he asked that.
Great.
Yeah. All right, but like Mike said, join us tomorrow for Tim Stack, Son of the Beach.
My name is Earl.
My name is Earl, and a ton of stuff. So 8:30 tomorrow night.
8:30, yes, indeed.
All right. Well, Mikey, any last words?
Nope. Just join us tomorrow. Go and follow us over on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live. And that is a lot of times, by the way.
And I just got a message from Pat Ball saying they 100% F in that koi pond. So that will be my final words.
All right. I love it. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.